Hi, friends. We are back with Greg's Saturday. All right. Well, after spending the last 2 weeks walking to school, I was really looking forward to kicking back and doing nothing for 2 whole days. The problem with watching TV on a Saturday is that the only thing that's on is bowling or golf. Plus, the sun comes through the sliding glass window and you can barely see the TV, anyways. That's a spare, Dave. That's true. Sometimes that does happen. Today I wanted to change the channel, but the remote was on top of the coffee table. I was all comfortable with my bowl of cereal on my lap, so I really didn't want to get up. I tried using the force to make the remote levitate to me, even though I've tried it a million times before and it's never worked once. Today I tried it for about 15 minutes and concentrated really hard, but no luck. I just wish I'd known that Dad was sitting right behind me the whole time. That's embarrassing. Dad told me I was going to have to go outside and get some exercise. I told Dad I exercise all the time, and just this morning I used the bench press he got me. But I should have come up with something more believable because it was pretty obvious that that wasn't true. He was using it, but he was using it as a drying rack for his clothes. See, the reason Dad is on my case about exercise and all that is because he's got this boss named Mr. Warren, and Mr. Warren has 3 boys who are like crazy sports fanatics. Dad sees the Warren kids outside in their front lawn every day on his way home from work when his carpool goes by the house. 48, 49, 50. So it looks like we got lacrosse. This guy's working out. This one's practicing football. So I think Dad is pretty disappointed every time he gets home and sees what his sons are up to. So it looks like Roderick is melting one of Manny's toys and Greg is watching. Anyway, like I said, Dad kicked me out of the house today. I couldn't really think of anything I wanted to do, but then I had a good idea. Yesterday at lunch, Albert Sandy was telling everyone about this guy in China or Thailand or someplace who could jump 6 feet straight up in the air, no joke. The way the guy did it was by digging a hole that was 3 inches deep and then jumping in and out of it 100 times. The next day, the guy doubled the size of the hole, and he jumped in and out of that. By the 5th day, he was practically like a kangaroo. So it's probably believable, but I don't think he ups it every day. Some of the guys at my table told Albert he was full of baloney, that he was saying, but what he was saying made a lot of sense to me. Plus, I figured that if I did what Albert said and I added a few days to the program, all my problems with the bullies would be over. Looking for someone, fellows? So, like, he just jumped right up onto that windowsill. That is a pretty good idea. I got a shovel out of the garage and found a place in the front yard that looked like a good spot to dig. But before I could even get started, Mom came outside and asked me what I was up to. I told Mom I was just digging a hole, but of course she didn't like that idea. So she came up with about 20 reasons why I wasn't allowed to dig a hole. Mom told me it was dangerous to dig in the yard because of underground electrical lines and sewage pipes and stuff. Then she made me promise up and down that I wouldn't dig any holes in our yard, so I promised. Mom went outside, but then she kept watching me out of the window. I knew I was going to have to take my shovel and go dig a hole somewhere else, so I headed up to Rowley's house. I haven't been going up to Rowley's much lately because of Fregley. Fregley has been spending a lot of time in his front yard, and sure enough, that's where he was today. Does this scab smell funny to you? That's disgusting. My new strategy with Fregley is just to avoid eye contact and keep walking, and it seemed to do the trick today. When I got to Rowley's, I told him my idea and how the 2 of us should practically be ninjas if we stuck with this whole jumping program I planned out. But Rowley didn't seem too hot on the idea. He said his parents might get mad if we dug a 10-foot hole in his front yard without asking them, so he's going to have to get their permission first. Now, if there's one thing I know about Rowley's parents, it's that they never like my ideas. I told Rowley we could just cover the hole up with a trap or a blanket and put some leaves on top of it, and his folks would never even find out. That seemed to convince him. Okay, so I admit that Rowley's parents might eventually find out, but that wouldn't be for at least another 3 or 4 months. So there's his dad trying to mow the lawn, and he falls right into the hole of the lawnmower. Me and Riley found a good spot in the front yard to start digging, but we ran into a problem right away. The ground was pretty much frozen solid, and we could hardly even make a dent. I spent a few minutes trying before I handed the shovel over to Riley. He couldn't really make any progress either, but I gave him an extra long turn so he could feel like he was contributing to the project. Riley got a little bit further than I did, but when it started to get dark out, he gave up. Man, that's messed up. Greg's inside drinking hot cocoa while Riley's digging. I guess we'll have to take another crack at this thing tomorrow. Sunday. Well, I thought about it a lot overnight, and I realized that at the rate me and Riley are going, we're gonna be in college before we even dig a 10 feet deep hole. So I came up with a totally different idea for what we could do. I remember this thing I saw on TV where scientists made a time capsule and filled it with a bunch of stuff like newspapers and DVDs and things like that. Then the scientists buried their time capsule in the ground. The idea was that in a few hundred years, someone will come along and dig it up, and they can learn how people from our time used to live. Time capsule. Do not open until 2300 AD. I told Riley about my idea, and he seemed pretty enthusiastic about it. Mostly, I think he was just glad we weren't going to spend the next few years digging a hole. I asked Riley to donate some items to put in the time capsule, and that's when he got cold feet. I told Riley that if he put some of his Christmas presents in the time capsule, people in the future would get some really cool stuff when they opened the box. Riley told me it wasn't fair because I wasn't putting any of my Christmas presents in the time capsule. So I had explained to him that the people in the future would think we were really lame if they opened the box and it was filled with clothes and books. Then I told Riley I'd throw in $3 of my own money to prove I was making sacrifices too. That seemed to be enough to convince him to fork over one of his new video games and a couple of other things. Actually, I had a secret plan I wasn't letting Riley in on. I knew that putting the cash in the time capsule was a smart move because that money is going to be worth a lot more than $3 in the future. So hopefully whoever finds the time capsule will travel back in time and reward me for making them rich. For you, kind sir. I wrote a little note and put in the box just to make sure the person who finds it knows exactly who I am. To whom it may concern, the cash is from Greg Heffley, 12 Surrey Street. Me and Riley found a shoebox and put all our stuff in it. Then we sealed it up with some masking tape. I wrote a little note on the outside of the box to make sure it didn't get opened too soon. Do not open until time travel is possible. Time capsule. After that, we put in the hole we dug yesterday and buried it as best we could. I kind of wish Riley had put some more effort into digging the hole because our time capsule wasn't really buried all the way. Hopefully nobody will mess with it because it needs to stay there for at least a few hundred years. I don't think that's going to work out, but we will find out in the near future. I will see you guys next time.